Well, we have all heard someone say after a particularly violent storm, well, at least we don't have earthquakes here. Well, that's a little gem of conventional wisdom that may not be so accurate anymore. Joining us once again in studio is Todd Halihan, an OSU geologist who studies fluids around the globe. So I guess my first question to you is this. It seems as if, and tell me if it is, that we are having more earthquakes here in the middle of America.
So in terms of having more, we feel like we're having more whenever you get a couple big ones to show up that people actually feel the earth shaking. And so if you go back in time, there's been times where Oklahoma's had earthquakes, but you have to go back 20, 30, 40 years to ones that were big enough that we noticed them. And so if you go to Missouri, they've had ones that were big enough to alter the Mississippi River and would be very damaging today, but it hasn't happened for a couple hundred years. And so if they were to have another one of those, geologically it wouldn't be surprising, but everybody would be stunned that it happened because they didn't expect that to happen because they don't feel them every day.
Now, can what we do as man, can that affect what happens to the earth? Can we make it move?
Yes, and so if you inject water into a fault, you can actually lubricate it a little bit, and if it's ready to slide already, it will be able to move. And so the first experiments that were really looking at that were out in Colorado back in the 60s, and they had a set of wells that they were wondering whether they were having more earthquakes, and so they started doing experiments to turn the system on, let it go for a while and monitor earthquakes, and then turn it back off and see if the earthquakes went down. And during the whole time they had earthquakes, but when they were injecting very hard into the fault area, they could make the number of earthquakes increase. You're trying to break the rock. I mean, hydraulic fracturing is your intent is I'm going to put enough fluids into this spot in order to actually crack this rock. And so that's done, but what's done is in very, very localized area, they actually break it in a bunch of little pieces because it's actually not that easy to break it. And you also want to be controlled about it because you want to create the fractures right around your wellbore to be productive. You don't make money if you fracture it inappropriately, you lose a lot of money. And so there's no drive for the industry to frack poorly because if they were going to do hydraulic fracturing and cause cracks at one places that they couldn't produce, it was a lot of wasted energy and resources for them. So it's done in stages and you stage through there. And that typically you can, by monitoring these systems and monitoring when it's done, you can demonstrate pretty clearly. It's pretty hard to generate anything of a large seismic. It's when that produced stuff comes out of the well and you've now got, wait a minute, I've got natural gas that I want, but I've also got water that I don't want because the quality is too low. You have choices, and so when you're going to get rid of that water, if you're up in Pennsylvania area where they're also doing hydraulic fracturing for the Marcellus Shale, they don't have good places to inject water, and they haven't done that for a bunch of years, and so geologically they're a little stuck in terms of I don't have any place to put this water that is not of drinking water quality.
Yeah, and do you think that reluctance to use it in some of those states is that we just are kind of protective of Mother Earth?
Sure, and what's interesting is a lot of times the oil and gas industry gets portrayed as those bad oil guys, and it's an interesting one because if a doctor is working on a patient, they're cutting into the patient, but it's not, well, he's a bad doctor, he's cutting up people. But in terms of investigating a problem that he's asked to solve, that's part of what he's doing. But he gets, okay, we're gonna work on this and you're gonna cut into his leg. But a geologist, if we're going to, hey, we want to keep the lights on and we're not too thrilled about nuclear right now, or we don't want a big coal-fired power plant, let's do natural gas. We like that, that seems to be clean burning, and we don't like it for this reason, that, but this seems like a good option for us and it's a reasonable price. We don't mind heating our homes with something we can afford. Okay, so that's what you'd like to do. Let's try to do that in the most efficient way possible. And you know, when you develop new technologies, there are going to be things that you got to go, hey, wait a minute, let's look at that and see if this is a problem or not. So for the recent Boeing problem that they had with a battery in their airplane, and they had to go back and, hey, let's look at this problem. We don't want to have planes fall out of the sky. Well, there's nobody producing oil and gas that would want to have an earthquake generated. That's not good for their business. That's not good for them. And so they want to look and say, hey, is that something that we're doing that we need to alter what we're doing? Or at the same time, you got to worry about, well, is there something that's going to quake just because I'm there anyways? If I was standing there with a drill rig or if I was standing there on my own 2 feet, it would have an earthquake anyways. And so I use rulers for this sort of thing. But
and you brought one with you?
I brought one with me, and it's a nice orange one. But in terms of thinking about places on the Earth that you're going to go in and maybe inject some fluids, if there's no stress on it and it's just a ruler, it gets really hard to break. But if there's a lot of stress there, well, now it might be easier to cause something to happen. And so you've got to worry about what that is, and that's pretty hard to measure as to how stressed out the rocks are. You can do that in a laboratory, but it's pretty hard to do in the field.
So I guess the question I want to ask, can we tie a 4.6 to hydraulic fracturing or a 5.7? Are those too large of what we're talking about from this hydraulic fracturing?
Earthquakes are a tricky business for prediction, and so we've looked at them for 100 years scientifically, and we've looked at what might cause them, and we've got a pretty good handle on what causes them and some of the effects, but predicting when and how big, you can predict general probabilities. That fault's probably going to go in the next 30 years at about this size. But getting nailed down is very tough, and some people use analogies of train cars, and that you've pulled the first train car, and now another one moves somewhere on the train, and you're just pulling a little bit, and you get the couplings to start cracking and bouncing, and you might move a train car here or there. But when you first start in that train car, it's not smoothly rolling along. You've got pieces and parts of the train moving. And so when you try to predict which car goes and how big it's going to go and how much movement's going to be there, we've had nobody successfully predicting earthquakes. I mean, we just had some of our colleagues in Italy were actually thrown in jail because they didn't predict an earthquake.
Okay.
And they came on TV or they talked to the newspaper and they said, "We're seeing some small earthquakes. Do we know there's going to be a big one now?" And they had some precursor earthquakes to a larger one. And they said, "We don't have any evidence saying that these small ones will lead to a big one." And a big one happened. And so they've thrown them in jail because they didn't say, "We're going to have a big one." Well, they functionally couldn't predict it, but they were the ones being asked. And so it makes geologists a little nervous to come on TV, either to talk about hydraulic fracturing or talk about earthquakes, because there's now examples in the world of geologists being thrown in jail because they talked about the technical issue, but didn't make a prediction that people felt like they should be able to make.
Well, nervous or not, I thank you for being here, Todd.
Thank you.
All right. Now, we do have more from Todd Halihan online. Just go to okhorizon.com, where I will ask him if all earthquakes are made the same.